And yeah, so I sort of got my dream. But I mean, what happened? Oh, so anyway, right. So this is right. Here we go. We're coming full circle, right? Yeah. So remember, dear viewer, I mentioned I mentioned that I wanted to be a designer. Wow. Before Dale quit, at the height of our fame, we went to Japan and I designed a garden. Oh, finally, I got my design dream. And now I do bits of design for gardens and stuff. Oh. You hear that?
Yeah,
Did you hear that? Oh my God, I've got a nightmare with my headphones. Sometimes if I dodge my headphones, music comes on. Something wrong with my laptop. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Christmas music there for you.
Yeah.
So basically, in the end, I got my dream of designing stuff. And I get to design gardens here and there and show gardens and bits. But yeah, 3 years now, I've been a full-time Skinny Jean Gardener, podcaster, author.
Yes, I was just about to say you're an author as well, but you also do your live shows, don't you, on YouTube?
Yeah, so yeah, I did the podcast for a while, and there wasn't many podcasts about. I know Sugget had his, and he's very different to what I do. And I feel like I met all the well, because I was doing shows still for kids gardening. I was meeting all the Monty Dons and Titchmarshes and that anyway backstage, which was quite cool. And I mean, they didn't care about meeting me, but never mind. And but I got to interview them. So, there wasn't many podcasts going about at the time that interviewed garden celebrities or just celebrities in general. And I did that, and you know, I think I've done the podcast for about 4 years, and then last year. So in 2020, it didn't really fulfill me, if I'm honest with you. It was nice to meet these people, but the story, you know, you get into a bit of I'm not putting myself in the shoes at all, but me chatting to you is probably the first different chat I've done for a while. You get into a bit of a rhythm of telling the same story. And I felt a bit bored from the content, if I'm honest with you. And then obviously we had COVID come along, and I had a new sponsor. I had Flymo sponsoring last year, and they were really great with it. They were like, just do what you want, just do your thing. Right? We're happy for you to, you're the expert. I was like, oh, cheers. So I decided, and I dip my toe into streaming and doing like live shows. And I decided to start doing that in September. 5 days. Well, it started 4 days a week. Now it's 5 days a week, and just getting conversation from people, just people that garden or just people that enjoy gardening and having fun with it. And I feel, apart from other stuff that I've got going on, I feel the podcast and the live stream, because obviously we take the audio from the live stream and use it in the podcast. I feel like we're doing good from it. I feel like it's fulfilling something. Like last year, we were talking about kids gardening, and then another listener wanted to donate some gloves to someone I was interviewing, to a school, and then also some wellies as well. And then it felt like what we were talking about was one different, giving a voice to other people as well. I think it's really important. And yeah, just, I feel like from it, I mean, at the moment especially, for me, this month, it's helped me through this lockdown, but also just, being there for people and just keeping people company. Do you know what I mean? Like, and talk about like our favourite thing together. Like, I love doing it. It's, I mean, so much when people keep listening, and on the podcast, I don't really know. We get like 12,000 people a day listening to the podcast, and I don't really know how that happens, but people do. So,
so how would people find you on YouTube or for your podcast? Is there a website, or have you got a URL for the or they just type in Skinny Jean Gardener?
Well, you can just type in Skinny Jean Gardener. So what we do now, we go 5 days a week live. But we go live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Right. So there's not really any excuses to miss it. And then on Sundays, we put all of the best of audio. So the best of the week, I chop up, put into a podcast, and then you just have to search Skinny Jean Gardener podcast and give it a listen. But it's I love it, man. I think it's fun to hear what people have to say, and it's not too serious. I mean, I don't know, maybe end of last year it got a bit too newsy and a bit too, maybe you shouldn't have peat free and stuff. I think that's important, don't get me wrong. But the start of this year, it's I just want to have fun, man. I just want to have fun with it. There's plenty of podcasts out there doing the serious stuff. That's being covered. I don't mind popping into it and saying, yeah, this is what I think. But people just need some light relief. Do you know what I mean? Just have some fun.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, Lee. It's we're in a situation at the moment. There is light at the end of the tunnel. If we can get, just touching on COVID briefly and I don't like to discuss COVID too much because I've lost friends from it or through it, and I don't want to go down a route too much. But there is light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccines for everybody, and the sooner we can get the full rollout going and get people vaccinated. To be honest, I can't wait to get mine. No. I had a text message come through to me the other night, and it said, "We are able to book you for a COVID vaccination." I was almost out my front door, and then I looked at it closely again, and it said for over 70s. Well, that stopped me in my tracks. I've got another 3 years to go to that. But, so yeah, and it's a difficult time for everybody. But you're absolutely right. Get some light relief through your podcast and through your live shows. I've sat and watched some of your shows, and I haven't commented too much at the moment. But once I start, you'll be fed up with me. But yours,
Kevin, this is the first time. Like, we don't know each other very well, right?
No.
But I know for the first time ever, anyone we speak to, we know how we're feeling. Like it's everyone in the whole, not even the country, the whole world feels that pain and that everything. And that's the first time, and probably last time in a long time, that we all feel that. So it's
never happened. It's never happened in my lifetime, and I'm 67.
Yeah.
There have been problems cropped up along the way, different things, but this is the biggest it's ever been in my lifetime.
Yeah,
but going back to the allotments, as you know, I took on this allotment last October, and it was in the biggest mess that I could ever think I could ever find an allotment, to the point where there was a greenhouse on the plot, and you couldn't see it because of the brambles and the tree branches and goodness knows what. But it took me 2 months to clear the plot. But what I found about being on an allotment, you have got you've got the other people there, and you're like a community.
Yeah, that's it.
And you've got your own space. Some of the older guys will walk down to my plot, and they'll stand 20 yards away, and some of them are not very good at hearing, so I'm having to go, shout loud. But it's a fantastic feeling because you've got an enjoyment that you've got there, which you enjoy with everybody. You love doing your garden. I wish I'd done this 20 years ago, but I love going there. And as you know, I was there yesterday, and I spent an hour digging the garden, whereas, I might have been, last week, I might have been doing something down at the bottom of the plot where it's very, very wet. But I just love it. It's fantastic community.
Well, that's the thing. Like, now I don't have an allotment. I do miss that. Like, there was some characters down on our allotment which I talk about all the time, like Chemical Alan and their guy that we've got no name for the other guy. I just call him Dave, but he just used to stare at us and not say anything. And there are characters, and they give stories. But there was some really nice people down there. I do miss that sense of community. I grow in the back of my garden now, and it's not quite the same. We have like neighbours who I'm still not sure what their names are yet, but they know me, and I'm like, all right. Like, Lee, I'm like, hiya. I need to find out their names. It's really difficult, that, isn't it? When someone knows your name, even if it's your neighbour or anything, and you don't know theirs. How do you find out? Apart from like, it maybe intercept the postman, I don't know. But anyway.
That's right.
But yeah, I do miss that sense of community from the allotment. I used to love that, but you know, things change.
Yeah, it's like you say with the different live shows. Richard Suggett, friend of yours, friend of mine, been a friend of yours a lot longer than, friend. Yeah, okay, bit, you know, yeah, bit iffy. But Richard, bless him, he's got his show, and it's not the same as yours. His is really purely about allotments and plants and stuff like that. Yours is a similar to that, but I found there's also, I don't mean this is any disrespect to Richard Suggett, yours is entertainment as well. Because you did one, was it last week? I was watching, and you went off to you did your piece to the camera, and you said, right, and I've got to go to a bit of advertising now. The next thing is this guy with his dark hair and glasses, and I'm sitting there thinking, but it was entertaining. So you're doing, you've got two shows that are, they're live shows. They're about gardening, allotments, but yours is entertainment, and Richard's is a different way of doing it.
Yeah, I think Richard. I like to think of Richard as he's an education man. Like that boy knows his stuff about allotments, which is
does he? Yeah, Christ, yeah.
Big respect to him. And I just, do you know what? I just want to have fun. And I'm getting a new studio in later on in the year. And I've got so many more ideas.
Is it going to be the same as Richard's, where the board starts dropping down?
No, it's not going to be the cardboard box. No, it's you know, I just want to bring some fun to it, like gardening, especially. Like I think, how do I put this nicely? Gardening can be portrayed as boring, and that mainly is because of media and the way that it's portrayed on telly. I feel like with this sort of stream and stuff and YouTube and everything like that, we don't have to. And I've made this mistake before because I wanted to toe the line with everyone, and be part of that gang. But actually, that's not what it's about anymore. People moan about, I get people saying, you know, doesn't really know about everything. Like, how do you know about everything about gardening? You can't, right? No. I mean, I'm a kids gardener, so I'll stick to kids gardening. I'll be an expert in that. Ask me anything about getting a child into gardening, I'll be all over it. Ask me about a certain tree. No, I'm not going to know about a certain tree. But that is the beauty, and always has been, of my show. We can find out together, not just through Google, although we do cheat sometimes, don't get me wrong. But someone's going to know. People, through conversation, we can find out together. So it's almost, you could almost look at it as like we are bringing a community together. We're very slowly getting there, but I love it, man. Anyway, I don't know how
I think what you're doing. I think what you're doing is brilliant. And Richard Suggett, you know, it's. I would never have dreamt of contacting anybody. You were doing a live stream with Richard, and I think I phoned in or something. And if I'd said to my late father, I'm going to ring into a show tonight about allotments, and he would go, really? But my dad was an avid gardener, and apart from when I was a little kid, I was not interested in gardening, but I could have learned so much from my dad and my granddad, because my dad worked out in the woods, and he used to cut chestnut, and his release was to go in the garden, and he would spend all weekend working in the garden. He'd be in the garden on summer's evenings and things like that, and we had blackcurrant bushes, and we had blackcurrant, and we had salad stuff all outside the back door. Then at the bottom garden, he'd have all the veg, and I could have learnt so much from my dad. And it's like lots of things in life. When I was doing research into my family history, I should have spoken to my granddad, because he was in World War I. He was in the Battle of the Somme. He was in Ypres. All that information and knowledge is gone, and it's exactly the same for gardening. the old guys that are gone, they've taken so much knowledge with them that unless you still got a few of the older people that would learn from their parents, then all that information and knowledge is gone. And it goes for every walk of life, it really does.
It's scary. I don't know. I mean, I'm guilty of this as well. I need to speak to my granddad a lot more. He was really touch and go over just before Christmas with COVID. And he had a lot of regrets. I mean, he's fine now, and I keep meaning to speak to him more about stuff and learn more from him, because I don't think we do. I think until we get older, then we realise. So I don't think we do as a young. No,
you don't. As younger teenagers or coming into their 20s, you're not interested. But the trouble is, the interest comes in when it's too late.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say to you, Lee, is a little bit of advice from my point of view, and I know it personally, is to speak to your granddad. And not only make mental notes of it, write it down. Yeah.
Well, very important. It's funny, actually. You say, I don't even know what they're called now. Some sort of floppy disk thing that you used to. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, I've just found in the loft some discs, and about 10 years ago, my brother recorded my granddad and about his story, and I need to listen back to him, but I need to really speak to him. I need to speak to him. It's really difficult at the moment. I mean, this whole situation is it's hard to speak to people like that, because but I do, Anyway, let's by the by, but we'll sort that out. I'll ring him literally after I speak to you, Kevin. I'll ring him, all right?
I'll hold you to it. Lee, look, I think we've covered everything, mate. I think we really have, and it's been a pleasure. It really has. I hope you've enjoyed it first and foremost.
No, I've hated it, but we've done it. No, it's been good, man. Like, you ask anyone, especially Sugget, he knows that I love talking about myself. So it's been a pleasure.
As I said to you before, this is just like two mates having a chat. It was nothing serious. There's stuff written down over there, which I won't tell Steve I didn't look at. But
burn that. Just burn that.
Lee, listen, I will say cheerio to you. You take care of yourself. Stay safe and the family. And when you get chance, I want you and Mr. Sugget to come down to my allotment.
Yeah, we'll do it, man. Definitely, as soon as we can. We're hopefully in the summer when we're allowed to walk about a little bit more.
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
Do it. Sounds good. Nice one, Kevin. Thanks, man.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye, dude. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.